Thomas. And that's why even casually, people say, don't be a doubting Thomas. Because Thomas is associated with double lives. If you are here and you are Thomas, don't be afraid. You will make a prayer today that you will not exhibit doubleness in the wrong way. Bwana asifiwe. Because names have power. And at some point, you like it or you don't like it, you will have to exhibit the meaning of your name. Peter as a disciple was introduced first day by Andrew, his brother. They are sons of Zebedee. So Andrew tells Peter, whose name is Simon, come, I found the Messiah. So when they reach where Jesus was, Jesus goes like, okay, you are Simon, son of Jonah, but you will be Peter, which means a rock. Okay? In other translation, Jesus changed the name of Peter from a rock, which is in Hebrew is called Petros, to Petras. Petras is a rock, and Petros is a small stone. And looking at the life of Peter, he was actually here and there, kibele-bele, and doing a lot of wrong things sometimes and things like that. But at the end of the day, he became a rock in terms of character. To an extent that Bible history or historical sources report to us, not in the Bible, that at the persecution after Jesus had left, Peter was actually crucified. And at his crucifixion, he was bold enough to say, don't crucify me facing up like my Lord, crucify me head down, upside down, because my blood is not worthy, it's not like that of Christ. He was now strong, not wishy-washy, not here and there, not jumping here and there, and he had become stable because he was given the name Peter the Rock, not the stone, which you can throw a stone from here to there. But a rock, can you even manage to move it? Peter the Rock. In the book of, we get that from the book of John 1:42, the introduction of Peter to Jesus. But in Matthew 16, verse number 18, this is the place where Jesus is asking people their views of what people say. And I think Jesus went like, na nyinyi rende wanasema mimi ni nani? Wanadai mimi ni nani? Then they went like, some wanadai weni Elijah, wengine wanadai weni Jeremiah, wengine sijui wanadai ni prophet wa zamani, and stories like that. And then Jesus asked, and you guys, you now, the disciples, who do you say I am? All of them kept quiet until Peter answered. And Peter answered and said, you are Jesus, the Son of God. Okay? Then Jesus said, Peter, it is not flesh and blood which has revealed this to you, but my God in heaven. And upon this rock I will establish my church, which the gates of hell will not prevail against. Okay? So Peter being translated from the stone to Peter the rock. That is the rock on which the foundation of the church is built. The rock of confessing by revelation that Jesus is the Son of God, the Savior of mankind. So Peter's name had to be changed. A little story outside this now. When I was in college, back in my days, I always share with you my stories. My roommate was one Thomas Mongari. In the course of interaction, normal things, we got to a point where he was asking me to visit with him in their home. Then jokingly he said, ama watu wenu watasema wewe unafuata Mkisii. Kufuata in ours is something like we say kesup or kosup. So he was telling me, or your people will tell you, wewe una ngosup Mkisii. All right. Long story short, that Kosup phrase or Kesup phrase became my nickname from that day within small circle of friends. So we would meet and they call me Kosup. I know that they are referring to me. Okay, that was the genesis of the name. We completed college after 4 years, and then when we were looking for jobs now, I trained as a teacher. I wanted a job to teach some place, and desperation, msoto, nini, and you know, after you complete school, you don't want to again depend on anybody. You want to earn your money, to be independent and sort your own issues. So I had a lot of trouble. Where will I get? I went to several schools I missed and stuff. But one Sunday, a friend of mine was sent to look for me in town because he knew where I was. The message was, there is a school that is calling you and they want you to report on Monday. So I hurried and I reported. Guess the name of the school that is calling for me? AIC Girls Kesup. I don't know. I was being called Kesup there. Here, Kesup is attracting me without my knowledge. And I'll share with you that story another day because it was typically God. Typically God. I read there, you know, when you are called for a job, interview, something, you're so prepared, kujitetea. Right from the gate, it was different. I gave my ID because normally you leave your ID at the gate so that you go, you collect when you are going back. The watchman saw it. His one keep care and told me, are you the new teacher? Then I was at a loss. I didn't want to say no because it's like chasing blessing. I said maybe. Then he told me, take your ID and go. I get to the principal's place and upon introducing myself, I am Jeremiah. I was told that you are calling for me. Oh, you are Jeremiah. Welcome. Sit down. I wasn't asked anything relating to asking or requesting for a job. The one question he asked me, have you come with your belongings? So I was wondering, kwani hii job nani alinipea? Na nilipata lini? Na ilikuwaje? And then it goes further to ask, so how much time do I give you to go and organize yourself to be back? I told him 2 days. To me, I wanted the shortest time. He said, no, I want you to come tomorrow because there are students here who have not been taught. Look at that. Then I go back very fast, took my personal belongings and reported. And in fact, he said, just come with your personal belongings. All the rest of the things, we will see how to go about that. Me with my bag from college, my bag to the school. I get there. Then the following morning, I was introduced to the staff. I mean, it was a glorious thing. Kesup, and it just came by nickname. So I was introduced to the other staff and everyone was godly. So you hear the name is AIC. So everybody is like church and brother and sister. They were welcoming me and it was great. I go back to the office of the principal. He took a plain paper and he began to write. So when I arrived, I spent at the deputy principal's place. So he began to write. He first took me to a house. And the house he gave me was a 2-bedroomed house. Imagine a job seeker. Then suddenly you land into a 2-bedroomed house. Goodness. Then we go to the office and he begins to write. 1, sofa set. 2, table with chairs. 3, blah, 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 mattress, and I don't know where I was given blankets or what, but I was, bed, everything. The most interesting thing and the one I didn't expect at that level of a job seeker was gas and accessories. Then he hands me the paper to take to the store people to give me those things. The stores people were very good, so good that they took the things for me to the house and helped me to arrange. And that was the first time they even showed me how to light the gas. Because I was not green. What is your name? I would say I am Kesu. So that is how I landed there, and I found it very interesting. to relate to the nickname I was given by my roommate. Back in the day, in the 90s, there is a place called Midiero in Nyanza, a place near Sidindi. Those of us who come from that part of the country will agree. Around that time, Midiero, I confirmed with a new friend of mine here this morning that Dier has a connotation of poverty. Those days, there was no single corrugated iron sheet in the entire village. Why? Because the name connotes poverty. They were really, poverty was whistling because you look at the whole area and there is no sign of development. I don't know currently. Maybe soon I will visit. Maybe brethren have done some justice and things are changing. So there is power in names. Don't ignore, don't be called a Karatasi and expect to not to behave like Karatasi someday. Be very careful with the names that go around. There were two characters near where I was born, not my village, but neighboring villages. Two characters of bad character. Yeah, they were not, what they were doing was wrong, it was evil, but these two characters, what is amazing is coming to think of them and their names. One was called Fresher. He was from another center near my place. And another one was called Kip. You know, Kip is just a prefix, but the name is Samu. Kip Samu. To me, the one who prays God, or the one who asks God. So between Kip Samu and Fresher, both are almost the same character. They steal, they beat people, they are bad guys, very bad. I particularly even had a lot of resentment for this Kipsamungu person because she did something evil to my home science teacher. And she had announced that we madam, nikikutana na yeye atanijua. And she actually did evil to my teacher. I felt so bad. So he was imprisoned, released, prison, released. When he's released, he comes and either steals or beats somebody or rapes you. Then he goes back like that. Kipsamungu. As we speak today, Kipsamungu is there. Maybe because his name is praying God asking. But the other one, called Frisha, doing the same things, died a long time ago. And finally, the way Frisha was killed, those who come from around that place will confirm. He attended on a man who had many able-bodied sons. Then he was ambushed in a center. And he was chased like an animal to the field of a primary school. And he was cut to pieces just like people cut a cow. Frishan was his name, but he died maybe a Frishan weight or something. But this other one, he's still there, but I think age is catching up with him. He's no longer evil. I remember when I was going for my engagement, he was one of the people there serving people. So he has prayed God. I think I should put that in my remembrance to also book a date and reach him with the gospel, because I think that's our part. That because yeye ni mtu wa kusa Mungu, wacha to connect yeye na Mungu, he finishes his life on earth in a very in style, in a good way. Last time I told you of a story that I went through and I saw the hand of God. Those of you who are here, I told you of how I went driving a small car. I ran over a man on the tarmac road. You remember the story. Now the funny bit, apart from seeing the hand of God, is also seeing the power in names. This name, and my boy here will confirm to you, comes from a family which is called Kap Kotorge. Kotorge in our language is to put something perpendicular. And to put across is to mur. So mur Itor. Now, this guy, when he was drunk, decided to sleep on the road. And maybe he told himself, I have reached home, let me sleep. So the power in his name somehow made him to itorgei on the road and not to murkei. So that when Jeremiah comes, Bwana asifiwe, what is your name? So I ran over him, putting him in the middle of the car. And what we scooped huko chini was his backpack, his rucksack. Went with the vehicle, we stopped, and I told you the story last time, and it ended well. We really thank God. That is the assignment also I have, to reach him with the gospel, God allowing me, to tell him that you are God. If it was not for God, and maybe the power of your Gotorge name, things would be different. So there is power in names. Sometime last year again, very funny stories. I am sent here to go to Nyeri, and I was taking two of our students for a skills show program there in Nyeri. And I went from Eldoret to Nakuru. At Nakuru stage, a name came from nowhere. I really don't know. So these people, you call them who? Makanga or the touts, people when you wanapanga watu stage. They call me honorably, chairman. Unaenda wapi? I told them I'm going to Nyeri. They showed me the vehicle, and I landed in Nyeri. The same time also happened for the first time. Chairman. I was wondering, this chairman thing, ni kitu gani? Now, our church were having elections. Was it in November? Last year. And I had been the able secretary, and I was very comfortable being the secretary. This time, Chairman Jeremiah. So, what is your name? Now I was relating, sasa wale niita chairman kwa stage, ndio hii chairman sasa imenitafuta mpaka church yawa. Power in names. If you are called the wrong name, be careful and do something about it. But if it's a good name, wait for it. Someday, soon, it will happen to you and you'll be able to rejoice. Let's go to the book of 1 Chronicles, chapter number 4. And